She wrote a children's book to help her sons cope with their father's sudden death. But was she hiding a deadly secret? Corey Richens' story of grief and healing took a shocking turn when police uncovered a chilling plot behind her husband's mysterious overdose. From a $2 million life insurance policy to a lethal cocktail, this true crime tale will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. Was it a tragic accident or cold-blooded murder? At approximately 9 p.m. on March 3, 2022, a 31-year-old woman named Corey Richens gently persuaded her 3 young sons to settle into bed before heading to the kitchen of her elegant suburban Utah home. Once there, she eagerly called for her husband, Eric, to join her, as she had exciting news to share. With the kids peacefully asleep, it was the perfect moment for them to celebrate together over a drink. Eric soon appeared in the kitchen, where Corey greeted him with a smile, handed him a drink, and suggested they continue the conversation upstairs in their bedroom. Once seated on the bed, Corey enthusiastically revealed the good news. Her small real estate company was on the verge of closing a deal for a stunning 20,000 square foot mansion in Utah, priced at $2 million. Corey planned to renovate the property and sell it for $3 million, which would net her a remarkable $1 million profit. This milestone represented a significant breakthrough for Corey, who had long worked tirelessly to establish her real estate career. Living in a conservative Utah community where many women adhered to traditional roles, Corey had resisted societal expectations, aspiring to build a professional life comparable to her husband's success. Eric owned a thriving masonry business, enabling the family to enjoy annual vacations to destinations like Mexico and Spain while residing in their impressive cul-de-sac home. While Corey had been a stay-at-home mom when her boys were younger, their decision to hire a nanny allowed her to chase her professional dreams. That evening, she brimmed with pride as she clinked glasses with Eric, discussing the life-changing potential of her real estate achievement. However, both soon admitted to feeling too exhausted to continue the celebration, especially Eric, who had received an allergy shot earlier that day that left him unusually tired. After brushing their teeth and preparing for bed, they turned off the lights, ready to sleep. Their rest was interrupted by the cries of their 7-year-old son, who had likely been awakened by a nightmare. With a sigh, Corey volunteered to comfort him. She kissed Eric goodnight and left the room, climbing into bed with her son until he drifted off again. Hours later, around 3 a.m., Corey awoke disoriented in her son's room. After ensuring he was still asleep, she returned to her bedroom, where she noticed Eric lying on his back, the covers kicked off. As Corey climbed into bed, she immediately sensed something unusual. Eric's body felt alarmingly cold. Alarmed, she sat up and attempted to rouse him, but he was unresponsive and felt unnaturally heavy. Panicking, Corey called his name repeatedly, but he didn't move. Frantically, she grabbed her phone and dialed 911. Through sobs, she struggled to convey the situation to the dispatcher, who assured her that help was on the way. When the paramedics arrived, Corey rushed downstairs to let them in. They hurried to the bedroom, but it was too late. Eric was already gone. The first responders were baffled. Eric was a healthy, active man who had gone for an 8-mile run the day before and regularly engaged in outdoor activities like hiking and hunting. His sudden death seemed inexplicable. A bottle of painkillers found on Eric's bedside table momentarily raised suspicions of an overdose, but it appeared to be an old, empty container. When questioned, Corey, still in shock, mentioned Eric's allergy shot and how it had left him feeling unusually fatigued. However, the possibility of an allergy shot causing such a tragedy seemed implausible. Self-life-taking was also ruled out. Eric was a devoted father, an enthusiastic coach for his son's sports teams, and a successful businessman. Additionally, the prospect of Corey's real estate success gave no indication of personal despair. Faced with the mystery of Eric's death, authorities informed Corey that an investigation would be launched to uncover the truth. They urged her to share any relevant information that could assist their efforts. Though Corey agreed, her mind was consumed with concern for her 3 young sons, still blissfully unaware of the heartbreaking loss that had just befallen their family. In the weeks following Eric's death, Corey Richens channeled her energy into supporting her 3 sons, who were deeply affected by the loss of their father. Eric had been an involved and loving parent, and his absence left a significant void in their lives. Corey's youngest son, only 5 years old, repeatedly asked, "Where's Dad? And when can I see him again?" The older boys, who somewhat grasped the permanence of death, posed questions like, "Can Dad still see us?" Or, "Does he hear us?" Each inquiry tugged at Corey's heart, leaving her struggling to find the right words to comfort them. Determined to ease their pain, Corey sought out children's books on grief from bookstores and online platforms, hoping they might help her sons process their emotions. Unfortunately, none of the books seemed to resonate with the boys. Realizing this approach wasn't effective, Corey decided to take a more personal route. One evening, she gathered her sons and began crafting a story about their dad, portraying him as a protective angel watching over them. While narrating, she sketched colorful drawings of Eric with wings and a halo, surrounded by images of the boys waving up at him. She assured them, "Your dad is an angel now. He loves you. He hears you, and he's always looking out for you." To Corey's relief, this imaginative storytelling struck a chord with her sons. For the first time since Eric's passing, they seemed to find solace, connecting with the idea that their dad's presence lived on in a meaningful way. Soon, these bedtime stories and accompanying illustrations became a nightly ritual. Corey witnessed firsthand how this simple act of storytelling helped her children cope with their loss, providing them with comfort and a sense of connection to their father. Inspired by the impact of her stories, Corey had an epiphany. Why not turn these narratives and drawings into a children's grief book? She believed other families navigating similar tragedies could benefit from a resource designed to provide comfort and understanding for young children. Driven by this vision, Corey and her boys began compiling their stories and illustrations into what would become a heartfelt guide for families dealing with loss. On April 13, 2022, 6 weeks after Eric's death and while Corey and her children were still immersed in creating their book, a police car pulled into her cul-de-sac. The lead detective investigating Eric's case, Detective Woody, stepped out of his vehicle and signaled for Corey to stop as she was backing out of her driveway. Concerned but curious, Corey exited her car and approached him. Detective Woody, wearing a somber expression, explained that he had significant news about Eric's case. The autopsy results had revealed that Eric hadn't died of natural causes. He had succumbed to a fentanyl overdose. The revelation was shocking. Fentanyl, an extremely potent opioid often mixed with other drugs, had been found in Eric's system at levels 5 times the lethal dose. Corey was stunned. She insisted that Eric didn't use drugs, except for the occasional marijuana gummy to help him sleep. The detective, while empathetic, emphasized the need to uncover how Eric had come into contact with fentanyl. To do so, he requested access to all electronic devices in their home, searching for clues that might lead to answers. As Corey agreed, she recalled that Eric's laptop had been taken shortly after his death by his business partner, Cody Wright. Although Corey wasn't entirely sure why Cody had the laptop, she explained the strained relationship between the two men. Their friendship had deteriorated after Cody reported Eric for illegally hunting a bull elk, leading to Eric's temporary ban from hunting in Utah. While they continued to work together in their masonry business, the trust between them had been irreparably damaged. Corey suggested that the detective speak with Cody about the laptop and consider whether he might have any knowledge about Eric's death. Detective Woody thanked her for the information and promised to follow up, but despite interviewing Cody and retrieving Eric's laptop, no substantial leads emerged. The investigation stalled, leaving the circumstances of Eric's death shrouded in mystery. As months passed with no resolution, Corey remained focused on her children and their shared project. Writing and illustrating the grief book became both a therapeutic activity and a way to honor Eric's memory. Then, on March 5, 2023, nearly a year after Eric's death, there were still no concrete answers about how or why he had died. Corey Richin's grief book, titled Are You With Me?, was finally complete and self-published on Amazon. To her surprise, the book resonated with parents of grieving children and quickly garnered widespread praise. 5-star reviews flooded in, and requests for interviews began to pour from local media outlets, eager to hear Corey's story about why she wrote the book and how her children were coping with their loss. Initially hesitant to step into the spotlight, Corey eventually embraced the attention, proud of the work she and her sons had created. She believed Eric would have been proud too. However, Corey could not foresee the chain of events her book would set into motion. Since Eric's mysterious death in 2022, Utah police had been meticulously investigating, scouring electronic devices owned by the Richens family and Eric's business partner, Cody Wright. While combing through this data, investigators stumbled upon suspicious activity but lacked concrete evidence to act. The release of Corey's book and the ensuing media attention reignited interest in Eric's case. News of the unsolved death spread, prompting several individuals to contact the authorities with shocking allegations. Eric hadn't overdosed. He had been murdered. The name these informants repeatedly mentioned as the alleged perpetrator matched the person police had already begun to suspect based on their earlier findings. On May 8, 2023, bolstered by these new tips and their ongoing investigation, authorities felt they finally had enough evidence to make an arrest. While the case is still unfolding and yet to go to trial, prosecutors have pieced together a chilling narrative of what they believe transpired on March 3, 2022. That evening, Corey called Eric downstairs to the kitchen, where she greeted him with a radiant smile and handed him a celebratory Moscow Mule, a cocktail made with ginger beer, vodka, and lime. She shared her excitement over a significant real estate deal that promised a $1 million profit for their family. After clinking glasses and drinking, the couple retreated to their bedroom. Unbeknownst to Eric, Corey had added a lethal dose of fentanyl to his drink. Prosecutors allege this act was the culmination of weeks of planning. Corey had been siphoning money from Eric's accounts, taking out substantial loans in their family's name without his knowledge. When Eric discovered these financial deceptions, he sought legal advice for a divorce, intent on protecting his assets and ensuring Corey couldn't access them post-divorce. Faced with the prospect of losing financial control, Corey allegedly took out a $2 million life insurance policy on Eric and orchestrated his death to secure the payout. This wasn't her first attempt, prosecutors claim. On Valentine's Day 2022, Corey allegedly laced a sandwich with fentanyl for Eric, accompanied by a love note. Although the attempt failed, Eric experienced only an allergic reaction. Corey secured a stronger dose for her fatal plan in March. After Eric consumed the spiked drink and succumbed to the overdose, Corey reportedly spent hours pacing the house rather than seeking help. Investigators later uncovered incriminating search history on her devices, including phrases like, "how to destroy electronic evidence," and "luxury prisons in America." These digital traces, combined with the suspicions of Eric's family and their subsequent calls to the police, led to Corey's arrest. By May 2023, Corey faced charges of aggravated life-taking, carrying the possibility of the death penalty if convicted. She denies all allegations, maintaining her innocence while being held without bail. Her grief book, once a symbol of solace, was removed from Amazon, leaving behind a trail of questions about her true intentions. Did you see that twist coming? From a grieving widow to a murder suspect, Corey Richens' story is a roller coaster of deception, betrayal, and tragedy. What do you think really happened? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more jaw-dropping true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious, and always question the story behind the story.